Welcome back. Today, we're going to be having a look at grouping selectors. We'll be discussing grouping shared styles and grouping selectors and cascading. Sharpen your pencils. Time to get started. So what is grouping selectors about? Selectors can be comma separated to apply shared styles. For example, let's say we had an H1 with the color blue and an H2 with the color blue. We can rewrite this CSS more efficiently like this. We grab the H1 selector and the H2 selector, and we comma separate them. And then we just define our rule once. This method avoids us repeating shared styles and makes our CSS code more concise. So let's jump into VS Code and see how this works. So I've gone ahead and set up a new directory called grouping. Inside it, I have an index.html file where I've grabbed the boilerplate and added 3 headings, an H1, H2, and H3. I've then linked a style sheet called app.css, which is currently empty. So let's go and grab the H1. We'll give it a color of blue, a font weight of 700, letter spacing of -2 pixels, and font size of 40 pixels. I'm then just going to copy this, change the H1 to an H2, copy it again, and change the H2 to an H3. So we're effectively applying the same 4 rules to the H1, H2, and H3 separately. Let's check this out in the browser. Alright, so as you'd expect, these same rules have been applied to our H1, H2, and H3. As we saw before, we can more efficiently write this as H1, H2, H3, and remove these styles. And refresh the browser, and you'll see there's been no change. So these rules defined once are applying to these 3 different selectors. Now, for most projects you work on, there'll be some styles and are applied to all headings, like font weight and letter spacing. But other styles, like font size, will vary between headings. So how do we deal with that? We want to be able to define shared styles, but we also want to be able to define unique styles for elements that are grouped together. To do this, we're going to be using grouping selectors and cascading. We can use the CSS cascade to add new rules to previous rules. For example, the H1 and H2 here have the same color. The declaration is repeated, but the font size are unique. The H1 has a font size of 62 pixels, and the H2 has a font size of 48 pixels, where we have some shared styles and some unique styles. So this is how we handle it. We group together the shared styles. So here we have H1, H2 with the shared color property. And as a result, the property is defined once. We then add in the unique styling. So first, the H1, which has a font size of 62 pixels. And because of the nature of the cascade, this gray color is added to the H1. And we can do the same thing for the H2. We define the unique value for the font size. And again, because of the nature of the cascade, the gray color is effectively added to this H2. So we're using the cascade to our advantage here. We're adding new rules to previous rules. So the combination of grouping selectors and effectively using the cascade helps us write much cleaner and concise CSS. So let's jump back into VS Code and check this out in action. Alright, so I'm back in the app.css file we were working on before. In most projects, the heading font size is different. So let's remove that from our group styles. We'll add an H1. Let's give it a font size of 50 pixels. We'll add an H2. We'll give that a font size of 40 pixels. And finally the H3, which will give a font size of 30 pixels. I'll save the file and refresh the browser. So now you can see that these shared styles are being applied to our heading 1, 2, and 3, and we're using the cascade to handle the unique nature of the font size for each heading. This technique is very common and very effective for writing cleaner and simpler CSS. So let's finish off this video by adding to our summary card basic selectors in the cascade. In this video, we looked at grouping selectors. We saw that selectors are grouped when there's shared styles, like color for this H1 and H2. We would then add custom styling to our type selectors, like a font size for the H1, where we'd be using the Cascade to add new styles to previous ones. Don't forget, you can download all the summary cards and presentation slides from the bootcamp in the link in the description below. You know what to do. Show some love in the comments below, subscribe here, and click here to move on to the next video in the playlist.